This is Channel 24 News, reporting live with Georgina Washington, Adrian Sunjack, and Henry Mudd.
I'm Georgina Washington for Channel 24 News. This is our first broadcast with our President John Quincy Adams. The election of 1824 was a race between John Quincy Adams, who was the Secretary of State for James Monroe, Henry Clay, the Speaker of the House, Andrew Jackson, a decorated war general, William Crawford, who was the Secretary of the Treasury for James Monroe, and John C. Calhoun, a South Carolina representative who bowed out of the race early to run for vice president. The election ended without any candidate receiving the majority of the electoral votes. Therefore, the House of Representatives has selected John Quincy Adams as the leader of this fine country. However, there has been some debate on whether or not the election involved a corrupt bargain between Henry Clay and John Quincy Adams. We have our special reporters on the scene. Let's first hear from Adrian Sunjack, one of our reliable reporters who has gathered various witness testimony. Adrian, can you please share with us what you've discovered regarding this controversial election?
Well, people, the weather for today is cloudy with a chance of corrupt bargains. Oh wait, this isn't the weather. I'm here at the House of Representatives where there was a bargain and it was corrupt. Even though Mr. Andrew Jackson received the greatest amount of electoral votes and the majority of the popular vote, the decision for president still went to the House of Representatives where none other than Henry Clay presided as the Speaker of the House. Clay swayed the votes in the House to ensure that Adams would become president. Why would Clay sway the vote? According to various sources, swaying the vote in the direction of Adams would clear a path to the White House for Adams, making Henry Clay the new Secretary of State under Adams, a promising stepping stone towards the presidency. It then appeared to Jackson that Adams and Clay had virtually locked him out of the presidency for anywhere from 8 to 16 years. This fact infuriated Jacksonians. Back to you, Georgina.
Thanks, Adrian. Now let's have a listen to what Henry Mudd has to say. Henry, can you confirm or deny this alleged corrupt bargain?
So being that no candidate won the majority of the electoral votes, the decision would legally go to the House of Representatives. There was no illegal activity on the parts of Henry Clay or John Quincy Adams. The House was basically split into two opinions, those who were for Jackson and those who were against Jackson. So, the results of the election were consistent with so-called sincere voting. That is, those members of the House who did not favor Jackson. For example, voters of recent dropouts, Calhoun, Crawford, or Clay, naturally went with his opponent, John Quincy Adams. This suggests that the result was not a consequence of any corrupt bargain between Adams and Clay, but was instead a natural consequence of an electoral field that was divided between those who supported Jackson and those who would support any other than Jackson. Guess you would say Jackson's presidential wagon got stuck in some wet clay. Back to you, Georgina.
Well, now that you've heard both sides, you can decide for yourself. Was this bargain corrupt? Was there even a bargain? But for now, let's celebrate a new era with a new president, John Quincy Adams. I'm Georgina Washington. Now stay tuned for Cats with Hats, coming up next.